more than anything, what I love doing is just talking to Adam, people like yourself, and turning our regular touch-in points, our regular conversations, into just something that we record and let people have a little insight as to what we talk about and what we do on a day-to-day basis. You can kind of see us in our natural habitat, if you will.
Yeah.
But maybe just for the sake of an introduction, I'll let you say what you do. And I'd love to give you the Jason Kelsey. I said this the other day, like just the energy that he brings when he talks about his guests. But I think I'll turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Adam Finch, I've been in the construction industry for over 20 years. Started framing houses in high school, wasn't quite ready to work full time. Went to school for architectural engineering technology, but still had a love for doing stuff with my hands. So I decided to go work for general contractors. So worked my way up to being a licensed carpenter supervisor. I ran my own renovation company for a little bit, all while my wife and I, we bought our first house. We were renting extra rooms to students. We were having our second kid, knew we were going to be short a little bit of money each month. So we decided, let's go buy an old duplex. So we did that, rented out the basement, and then slowly over a couple of years rented that out while also renovating it. Built up enough money, sold that, bought another house, and then we just kind of repeated the process. And then from there, once we had capital, we started buying some other properties and renovating them, flipping them, and then doing duplex conversions of single family homes.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I love the working with your hands and my dad was blessed. I posted a picture of him the other day and had a couple nice comments about that on what would have been his 80th birthday. But he was blessed with brains in his hands. He was
Mm.
born that way. I was not. So
Uh,
I rely on people like yourself.
yeah, like I always joke, it's like that became my paintbrush. Like I wasn't a very good artist. Like I like doing art. I like being creative. But yeah, once you get that first hammer and you can just start banging wood together and yeah, that was the best thing ever. Like for me, just mentally wise, when you're done at the end of the day, you can just physically see what you created, and that's the best thing. Even I just recently, now I've gone into more project management type of stuff with what I do, so you don't get that same satisfaction every day. It's a different kind of satisfaction because you're kind of helping guys out on site. It's more of a mental thing. But I just painted my son's room and I just stood back after and like, look what I just did today. So it's a good feeling when you can physically. And then the best is you can drive around town and hey, I built that. I built that. So,
Yeah, I do the same thing, but it's I sold that. Oh, I sold that. So yeah, and then all the crazy stories that go with it. Any crazy stories to share these days? I know you post a lot of videos of other people's f ups, but any that are your own stories? Because
oh, it's constant. It is constant. Even with new construction, like our very first house was new, right? And you got foundation walls shifting and cracking, and their basement floor slab heaved because of improper compaction. That's just a new construction. Or our last house, uh, the guy said that there was a leak from his water heater. Okay, no
okay,
problem. Because we found some levels of moisture. We were looking, there was kind of half a crawl space in the house. So we're kind of like peeking our head in there. Of course, there's just so much junk, right?
yeah,
So we move in and like we were always getting sick and we didn't know why. And so we
oh
were planning
wow,
to renovate the basement. So we start ripping up all the laminate floor in the basement and it was all like warped and stuff. And they said, well, that was from the water heater damage. So it warped it. So okay, no problem. They actually gave us a $3,000 credit because that happened in between when we first put our offer on the property and when we closed, they had this leak.
okay,
So we start ripping up all the laminate floor. Now there's $3,000 worth of dry core subfloor down, completely rotten and moldy. And we clean all that up and we still hadn't ripped, I don't think we had ripped all the walls off yet. And it rained. And the next morning, giant puddle of water in the basement. So split level house, right where the steps were, giant cracks. And the previous guy just parged over it, didn't fix any of the grading outside, nothing. So there's $3,000 in dry core, multiple trips to the dump because this stuff's waterlogged, putting in my truck. Um, and that's from what somebody else did. I mean, recently I was finishing my bathroom here, and I had to finish screwing down the subfloor because the guy was coming to measure for my shower base. I was getting a custom shower base made. So I was like, shoot, I didn't finish putting on this extra piece of plywood he needed for a buildup. And short screws in my pouch. I go grab a 3-inch, drill in. All of a sudden, you start hearing hissing right away. I'm like, oh no. I
Uh,
pull the screw out, water starts spraying, and it's a sprint to the basement, shut the water off, and like my whole ceiling in my kitchen below completely destroyed just from like 2 or 3 minutes because all the water, all that pressure right there. And of course, I couldn't do anything. Buddy's there. Buddy knocks on my door. So I just have a bowl. I poke a hole in the ceiling. I just got a bowl just dripping there for the hour while he's measuring and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Then I rip all that subfloor up and, uh, but these things happen. It's good that you can laugh about it, even the stuff you do yourself,
yeah,
and have fun with it.
that wasn't during a Facebook Live.
That one was not. That one
Okay,
was not.
fair enough. Yeah, we didn't have water under pressure, but I installed a new toilet at our place. I quickly learned why they sell these uh, new generation rings
Mhm.
because they're just foolproof compared to what damage I can do with some of the ones that come with the toilets when they sell
Mhm.
them. Actually, I think I appreciate. So when you, I think you hit like or whatever it was, because I'm looking at these toilets at Home Depot, saying, okay, well, what's what, and trying to get a lay of the land, and everything's measured in what was it? The one was pool balls,
Yeah, the
like
billiard balls, the
billiard
golf
balls,
balls.
and the other was measured like it's just like
Uh,
no, give me water. Like how much water fits in this?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
give me a flush rate here. Then to keep yourself busy outside of your own little projects
Yeah.
at home, what what are you actively doing in a market like this? Because there's still opportunities. Like everywhere you look, there's still opportunities. They're just maybe tougher to find. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so um land development. So we've got like we're building a cottage property, just waiting on financing for that. Right now, the banks are hungry to loan you money. So if you've got a good project, and the numbers work, so we've got that. We sat on the land for a little bit, waiting for the right time to build. I still have people that they're asking me questions all the time. There is properties out there. They're not necessarily in, your major markets like we're Kitchener Waterloo here. You might not necessarily find anything in town, but just outside of town there is opportunity. But even in town, there's opportunities, especially if you're willing to live in a property for a little bit and not necessarily, if you don't have the money right now or you can't get the financing or whatever, being able to get into a property that's a little bit lower right now because people are wanting to sell, they're wanting to offload properties. There's always people moving, and not everybody want. A lot of people like to live in the finished properties, and so if you don't have that, it's harder to sell.
And how then are you future proofing, if you will, some of the stuff that you're doing? Because again, there's no crystal ball.
Yep.
I talk to half the people. Oh, we're nowhere near the bottom. We're heading south. All this stuff, and then I talk
Mhm.
to the other half people, and then oh, we're at the bottom. We're heading back in the right direction. I like to be optimistic, so I think we're heading up. But for yourself, how do you future proof hedge your bets, if you will?
Yeah, so our last property, I do have a video of this. You guys can obviously follow me online, social media. I'm all over the place, but I did a
Yeah.
video recently about this that it was a basement. And so this one was kind of set, it was a non-code conforming duplex. The guy just had some cabinets down there. His daughter was living down there. He kind of had a sink. So what we did is instead of having to turn into a full duplex and get all those extra permits and the fire ratings, because we were still going to use it as a single family house for us. So what we did is we put in the rough-in. So we still had a kitchen down there, but treated it as a kitchenette. But we put in the electrical there for a future stove. It was there in the wall, just boxed off, and then the wire back to the panel. So in the future, if you wanted to, you could tie it in. We did put electrical there for the dishwasher, and then we did have a sink because we were using it kind of as a bar area for there. And then it was easy enough in the future, the way it was set up. There was a back hallway and a side door that you could easily just close that doorway in. And if you wanted to, yeah, you can fire it. And we just put a drop ceiling in the basement as well. So again, I did insulate it for just for sound for the kids playing down there and stuff, but it's easy enough someone in the future to just take down that drop ceiling, fire rate it if they want. Actually, the lady who ended up buying the place off of us is a music teacher, so she's still there. You can actually, it's cool. I can see the videos online of the house still because she's actively teaching out of it. So she's using it as just extra living space. But at any time in the future, if she wants to, maybe her kids get up, grow up, and so that's how we kind of set it up there. So I mean, we
Okay.
save tens of thousands of dollars not having to fire rate things, get all these, all the extra permits and everything. And then set it up also. I always like to do that, right? So we set it up extra for someone in the future can easily add that extra 10, $20,000 into the property. They've got some money. They can also, get money. So that's just the little value add things that someone can, you leave a little meat on the bones for everybody.
Yeah. And what about stuff like ARUs or ADUs? Like, are you looking at that right now, where it's sort of that low equity entry into rentals?
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of friends here locally that are building these things nonstop, and it's actually pretty funny when you think about everyone says ADUs, tiny homes, and all this stuff. Like these guys are building massive houses, like 700 square foot ADUs, but it's got a basement or it's a two-story, right? So we're talking 1,400 square feet. This is bigger than you're getting in a lot of townhouses nowadays, living in someone's backyard. But when you look at that, because I work on a lot of condo projects and stuff, and you look at a 700 square foot condo versus a 700, even if it's just ground floor 700 square foot ADU. Well, that condo is costing you five, six, $700,000, and the rent on that is astronomical. I mean, just your mortgage payment's going to be whatever over $3,000. You got to rent that thing out at $4,000. We can build an ADU in your backyard, and sure, it's like $300 to $400 a square foot, but we're only talking about like 210, $250,000. So the mortgage, that adding that mortgage onto your property, the addition is like 1,500 bucks maybe. So you can rent that thing out at $2,000, and these people have a nice 700 square foot, and they can drive. In most cases, you drive up to the back, drive up to it, or you got a nice walkway to it because everything's got to be to code and fire safety and all. But you've got ground access. So if you've got a dog, if you've got kids, and so it really works for that person, elderly person who maybe wants something smaller and still wants a garden. I just actually just talked to somebody recently, and they said their parents just sold their house and they're giving them money to build the ADU in their backyard because they've got a big piece of land. So now you can help out your kids for the next generation. And then, hey, you know what? You got a free babysitter in the backyard anytime you need it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, we look at how these things are being set up and employed to help families just like that. It's not just about rental,
Mhm.
so to speak, because to your point, 600-700 square foot apartment condo. What are the condo fees on that? Forget the mortgage, because you can pay
Yep.
off the mortgage,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
let's say you sell your place, you pay cash for the condo. Um, you still have a maintenance fee every single month,
Mhm. Yep.
and those go one direction,
Yep.
right? Like even brand new, um, as much as um, like when we put together our vacant land condo that we built out, we had to have basically an engineering firm that specialized in that sort of stuff go through and make the budget for us,
Yep.
right? It's still low, right? Like they incorporate everything that's of that date, but if it takes 2-3 years to build out a
Mhm.
project, um, like it's no small feat to come within, uh, you know, 10-20% of what the original budget was. So based out of Kitchener Waterloo.
Yep.
Um, we love that area. Um, there's always going to be that draw with the schools there.
Mhm.
Um, high tech is certainly has that area on the radar as well. They like that. Are there other areas in the province that you're looking at, or are you focused just on your backyard?
Yeah, I've always, even when I had my contracting company, I always like, and I would price jobs out of town. But yeah, it's just everything just always works because I know what people want here. I live here. I
Yeah.
know, you know what I mean? And the best is everybody who I need to do work on the project lives here as well.
Yeah.
And everybody stays busy locally, which is good too. And this area, I mean, it's growing, but it still has that community feel to it. And you can still get anywhere in the city in 15 to 20 minutes, but it's traffic starting to get crazy at certain times. But yeah, everything I'm mostly here. I mean, aside from like I've got some land north of Sauble Beach, but that's fun, right? So that's like a part-time short-term rental. The rest of
Yeah.
it is for our personal use. But
Like Oliphant area, or
yeah,
whereabouts are
just
you?
yeah, just north of Oliphant in Red Bay.
Okay.
So yeah, so we bought that land a little while ago, got our drawings ready, builder and all that stuff. So
Nice. No,
but
that's
that's it's again it's the area I know. I know some people up in Muskoka and Collingwood. I mean we never vacationed there as kids. My parents had a trailer up at Sauble, so again I know the area. I know what families are looking for there because I was that family. I'm still basically that family, and I can give you tips on where the best places to pick up material and yeah, fun places to go to.
nice. No, that's awesome. We love that area. So we haven't done anything. We looked at some property in Sauble,
Yeah.
um, but we ended up um, passing on it. Just um, actually at the time there was concern over what ultimately did happen
Mhm.
with regards to the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation and them reclaiming a portion of the beach and that stuff. Um, so again, anytime there's uncertainty, and we're seeing that right now in the market overall with call it tariffs with the economy
Mhm.
and so forth. Anytime there's that uncertainty, people hesitate in terms of moving forward with stuff, and I would think that Sable Beach, Saugeen Beach, would be one of those areas that would be hit because it is just a little outside of what I'd call sort of that Bruce Power
Mhm.
um, draw, right? Like it's a bit more of a drive down to the Tiverton area and where Bruce Power really has a strong foothold on job creation. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, when you bought that land, it's you figure you'll enjoy it part time and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so yeah, we bought the land, I mean, years ago, so free and clear. Bought it. It was a funny story. This guy who owned the land, we said, "Why is he selling it for so cheap?" And what happened is he had went to a bidding war on two pieces of land, thought he was going to miss out on the other one, didn't want to lose this one down the street because there's only so much land, in that direct area, especially it's like a 2-minute walk to the little beach that's there. So
yeah,
that was like the only empty piece of land right there. He was bidding on another one down the street. Well, he got the other one that he actually wanted more. So then he had this one, and he's like, "Now what?" So, anyways, we were able to pick that up. That was just coming out of COVID. We picked that up, but obviously, yeah, the guy couldn't build on two. Of
no,
course, the cost to build two, so even if you wanted to at the time, the cost was so astronomical with everything. So being able to wait a little bit till now, interest rates are down a little bit, and people are begging for work, which is a good thing.
yeah, no, that's great. We so you talk about those bids. It's again my family's history. So my dad grew up on a farm
Mm,
just outside of Orton, Ontario. Um, and so his great grandfather had the farm, his dad had the farm, and he grew up there and moved into Guelph. And then shortly thereafter, his mom and dad sold the farm, and
mm,
they wanted to move to Guelph. So they came in and they had never actually bought a home before, right? Like it
mm.
was one of those things again. So they came in and they found three houses that they liked, and they put offers on three houses, and they got told, "Yep, you won all three of them." They were working with the listing agent for each one, and they said, "Yep, you won, and yep, you won, and yep, you won." They said, "Okay, we'll go with that one." Well, unbeknownst to them, no, no, no. It A needs to be a conditional offer if you're not going to
Right.
follow through with it on whatever level,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they had two very unhappy
Huh.
sellers, and I guess one happy seller. But
Right.
yeah, it's just bizarre. I've only done that one other time myself, and
Mm.
ended up with 42 poker sets. But I won't get into that story. There was a lot of people got poker sets for Christmas that year, Adam. I'll tell you.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. And I was banned from eBay henceforth. So yeah, but no. Um, where do you see the market going? Like what? Any predictions? Any ideas on what you see happening?
Yeah, I was at a conference event recently with a guy from CMHC. So he was showing the migration of people throughout Canada. And I mean, obviously we are where we are right now with the international buyers not being allowed to buy. Now that's supposed to be lifted next year, hopefully in the beginning of the year. And there's all these people that are migrating to places like Alberta and all that. Now, of course, now there's uncertainty on Alberta between people are building too much there. The rates aren't necessarily where they want. The rents are going down across the board. The lack of jobs because way too many people are going there with the economy's not growing as fast as all the people. And so they were showing like, okay,
And
here's
the country of?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, who knows? They could be separated, in a year from now. So, temporary foreign workers, all these things, right? That could all be affected and they got to go somewhere. So, they said this guy was showing the graph and he says 2027, we see a slight uptick in especially the Southern Ontario market, which should coincide with the international buyers coming back, right? And then cool, because who's got the money, right? They've got the money. They can, sure. And the worst thing though is the fact that right now there's so many skilled trade workers in that Toronto area that are desperate for work, people laid off, people not working. We've got these projects now that are probably in danger of foreclosure, people holding land. The cost is ballooning. We've got a shortage of housing already, but now we allow these international buyers, which we need, but then now they'll be able to get things on cents on the dollar because everyone's desperate for work. And that's not a good thing. And unfortunately, that's what happens, in the construction industry. Everyone's begging for work, so people are going to start fighting each other for the lowest bid, and this is the worst thing that you see because people underbid way too much, and we go with the lowest bidder because we want to save the most money, and that means there's not enough money to ever finish the project, and you see it time and time and time again. Doesn't matter if it's a house or a 20-story apartment building, it happens time and time again. So I do see an uptick in the market. We're just in this weird lull too between like international students, especially here, like Kitchener Waterloo area. I just talked to a guy yesterday. He said he was desperate for people. I mean, he's trying not to drop his rents because he was charging 1,900. Now he's got to charge 1,600 to stay competitive. Well, it's going to take 8 to 10 years for you
To get
doing
back.
$40 a year, um, $40 a year increases to get
Yeah,
back to that 1,900. So, and
we've
that,
seen a few different ploys, advertising strategies, that sort of stuff, where first 3 months are free,
Mhm.
uh, but they still maintain that
Yeah,
set rate. So they're trying to entice people because they know that there has to be something there, but it's like yeah, and this is we're talking about a couple different things. So one, everyone should check with their lender,
Mhm.
whatever mortgage company they're with, just to see what type of skip a payment options they have. Because if you're carrying any uh, unsecured debt right now that is at a much higher interest rate, you're going to be further off just skipping a payment.
Mhm.
And if you have any type of relationship with the landlord at all, if you're renting, have a conversation with them and just say, listen, my lease is coming due. I know that I'm going to be um, looking to stay, but ultimately I've got to do what
Mhm.
is right for my family. And if at renewal you skip a month or whatever, and it's far better than blindsiding them with just moving out,
Right.
uh, and and just have that conversation. So there's lots of things going on right now in the marketplace. You hope that people aren't just trying to take advantage of one another. Yeah. So the foreign buyer ban, we are actually setting up a campaign because we have a couple of projects that we were looking to sell, and we thought that
Yeah.
it would be the right fit for a foreign buyer. So we had actually put together kind of an advertising campaign over a few months, um, specific to new homes. We had a couple of builders that we were working with in London and some other places, but um, on January 1st, officially it was January 1st of 2026, but they announced it prior to that, but they renewed it again. And I've done a couple posts on it in the past on my TikTok feed and that sort of stuff where it's like, yeah, it's really surprising that they extended it again because there's only a couple of different markets that it's really, 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 truly impacting. Um, and Toronto being one of them. Well, now you've got that Montreal company that's come in and they're buying $500 million worth of Toronto condos and that sort of stuff. But prior to that, the glut of condominiums that were coming on the market because these were the individuals that could come in,
Mhm.
get their foot in the door, um, and yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what where that shapes out. Um, and if nothing else, I, I was never overly concerned with the foreign buyers that were coming in and buying residential homes because ultimately, if there was a market to rent them out, then they were going to rent them out, right?
Right.
Um, where my main concern is obviously the um, food safety aspect of it with farmland
Right.
and having more control over that. And that is a what I found out recently is actually that's province by province. So each province mandates who can buy and when and how and much and that sort of stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm a big advocate of if an immigrant wants to come in and uh, start farming,
Mhm.
great. It's the non-resident, the out of country ownership by multinational companies
Mhm.
that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to our farmland. But
Right.
maybe that's me being a protectionist. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe tell us a bit about your podcast because you and your wife have your own podcast as
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah, we got a show. It's called we call it the Life of Love Show. So we get together almost every week. Sometimes we don't, but yeah, we put out clips as well. So we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can just search the Life of Love Show. We're also on Instagram, Facebook as well, putting out clips here. But you know what? It's a fun thing just to sit and like. There's questions like we use ChatGPT or we look at questions online like top 10, you know, words or lies parents tell their kids or stuff like that,
okay,
right? And then by like, you know, top date night ideas and you talk about your love languages. And it's actually really cool going through that just because it just helps. It's like predetermined time that we talk together and we kind of hash out some stuff. And then the conversations continue afterwards too. My wife's like, were you serious about that comment? Or, you know, and someone said to me,
for better or worse,
yeah,
yeah,
someone said you guys need to disagree more on the podcast. He's like, you guys just agree with each other. Now, I met my wife when we were 16 when we met. We worked at McDonald's together.
nice,
Started dating by the time we were 17, got married by the time we were 23. Like, so there's a mentality thing where like we think the same way. Our families are very similar. Now, my wife's Portuguese, like her parents came from Portugal. But it's the same thing. Like I mean, I had a pretty big family. My mom had 5 kids. My aunt had 4 kids. So we were big enough, right? Always hanging around with cousins more than friends. And my wife's the exact same way. And everyone in their family had 3, 4 kids. So it's just funny that we grew up kind of in the same style household. So we just clicked and gelled. And of course, we're also two totally different people as well. And my wife likes to, well, she's a nurse, so she hates hanging around with people outside of work because she's dealing with people all day.
yeah.
and but and I love hanging out with people. I'm always networking every night, but yeah, it's
Well,
good
that's like
times.
so your horror stories of all the different construction stuff that goes sideways
Yeah.
and I'll just say cutting corners. A lot of it looks like they didn't know what corner to cut, but anyway,
Mm.
um, but your wife's horror stories. I can't
Oh
even
my God.
fathom.
And yeah, on calls in the middle of the night from people swallowing or inserting things where they shouldn't be or what they shouldn't be. So most stuff she can't talk to me about because, but every once in a while there's a story or you watch a clip, she's like, "Oh, we've done that before." We removed one of those ones from somebody. So, and so
Yeah,
my wife does she's in colonoscopies and throat scopes. So it's stuff going in or out and sometimes people put
yeah.
the in and the out and so it's good times.
Well, I saw it. I wouldn't go there. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was headed in
Uh,
a direction that I
yeah.
really don't want to go down. So that's fair. How much how involved is she with any of the um decisions on buying property or so forth? Is she
Yeah,
told
so
after the fact or
well, actually, only our last one. Not that she was told after the fact. I went and looked at it. My brother's actually a partner on that project.
okay?
So the numbers all worked, but anyway, so I went and looked at it with our real estate agent, and then said, "Okay, we're putting in an offer." And sent them a bunch of pictures and said, "This is what we're putting an offer in." So they didn't actually walk it through themselves, but when it comes to like color choices and design choices, my wife comes up with all that. So if you ever see some of the pictures of some of my finished stuff, paint
The,
colors, tile colors,
she
countertop.
does candles, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and,
She's
and
got a
stuff.
custom candle company as well called Sable and Co. So that's my wife's creativity aspect
Yeah.
of being a nurse, right? It's just, institutionalized work. So her and her friend, they've got a candle company. So yeah, they do amazing candle wax flower candle bouquets and custom candles and stuff. So it's like
It's
she
awesome.
does that. I mean, I work in construction and then for fun, I renovate houses. So
Yeah, no, exactly. Wow. I did a clip today, and I reiterated thoughts that I've had in the past, but basically, Rayanne and I were out for a walk, and we see this stuff, and I just turned to her and I said, "I guarantee you that no woman was involved in the
mm,
creation of this because it looks like no woman was involved in the creation." It's
yeah, yeah.
like it. I, construction and again, please correct me if I'm wrong because you're
Mm,
dealing with it day to day too, and I might just see it through my lens. But construction is a very male dominated field,
mhm,
and even on the like when you took your courses for architectural design and that sort of stuff,
mm.
like was it male centric as well, or was it
Yeah, I
fairly
would say it was probably maybe like 70-30.
okay?
By the end of it, who actually graduated, there was more guys to actually finish the program. It's a 3-year program. But like we had one of our teachers was an architect, so we learned about spatial planning and all that stuff. So it's funny when I can look in a space and like right away like realize like okay, this is why this window is here because this is where the kitchen's supposed to be centered and you know people did a lot of actually smart building design back in the day. Like if you got any house that's like 20 years or older, there's a lot of actually smart designing that went into creating that exact shape of that room. Why your master bedroom is a certain size because it'll fit a king bed with two side tables. Your next room usually will fit a queen or maybe just a double bed with side tables, and your next one will fit just a twin with maybe
Yeah,
a side table and a dresser. So there was actually a lot of smart planning with some of these. And the problem is when you try to now fit something that isn't what was supposed to be in those spaces, like all of a sudden, yeah, you see that. But yeah, just talking about like the females. So like we've got females in some of the projects that I work on, like doing deficiency stuff, and like you can tell the difference between the female carpenters that did the deficiency checkouts and the ones that the guys are because they pass all these little details. So it's the increase in females on site is actually a really good thing for us.
yeah. No, and that's so for us. It's I just look at when we design some of the stuff, and we were using an architect firm. Like it wasn't like but
Mhm.
I brought my mom in to actually review the plans because she lives with this stuff, right?
Mhm.
And it's just she totally different ideas than what the guys were talking about.
Right.
I'm so happy now. So my daughter ended up with her interior design degree. She finished that up, and she's got a lot of. She likes the commercial stuff, like she likes
Mhm.
the restaurant designs and that sort of thing. Like, and she's got a lot of passion for that. But I drag her. drag her into some of the residential stuff. Again,
Yeah.
just to look at it because it's just a different perspective. And when Rand's there, like she just brings a whole wealth of ideas that I just don't. It it doesn't fit with where I'm
Mm.
looking like, oh, okay, no, that absolutely is neat. Like for example, my mom, linen closets. She's like, there's no linen closet here, or there's no like, where do you put
Yeah.
this,
Right.
right? Because she lived it. She lived it
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
40 years. Like, you need this. Um, if this conversation was the four of us with Rayan here as well, and your wife, and just who would be looking at what investment option
Hmm.
differently, and just risk profile of whomever and that sort of stuff. So, um, but no, that's great. I'll finish off with one final question that we ask everyone,
Hmm.
and I love asking people that I already know that they do stuff.
Hmm.
So, what um, what's the one thing you do every day to help you look better naked? And this is the only tie-in we have to naked real estate is this question. So,
Well, I'd say eat healthy, but I go through these crazy, crazy spurts. But I try to exercise almost every day, some sort of of exercise. My wife always jokes that I still think I'm 19, right? Go for a run. Yeah, yesterday it was a funny story. I was doing chest. I've got some weights here in my basement. I do have a go to the gym down the street as well. But anyway, so didn't warm up properly, just a couple jumping jacks. Let's just grab these big weights. And I went and pulled it up and I just felt a strain in my back. I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, oh, and I'm like, and I'm like hobbling upstairs a little. My wife's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I pulled my back. She's like, you're not young anymore. I'm 40 just for context, but and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going for a run. And then she's like, all right, you think? I'm like, that's okay. I mean, shouldn't hurt my back anymore. So it didn't really hurt my back, but it's like as I'm running, it's like my one toe's hurting. And then I was just about to get home. It's like my knee's hurting. And I come hobbling in. She's like, back feel better? I'm like, oh, I don't even know the back. My knee, my toes hurt.
yeah, I got some good news and some bad news. Yeah,
But I did it, right? So there you go. Like, I mean, yeah, I would say more mental every day as I get older. You start to learn a little bit more about the mental aspect, and just waking up with a positive outlook. Like I like to say, like I forget. I think it was a Brian Tracy, I think, motivational speaker guy. But it's like every day when you go to bed, you say something good's going to happen tomorrow. And then when you wake up in the morning, you say something good's going to happen today. And at the end of the day, reflect on something good that happened, right? Like you hung out with your kids, you saw a funny show, you made dinner with your wife, you won a job at work. Like there's always something good. And then you just get to this point where you're just always happy. And even though my back hurts and I was stumbling out of bed this morning and had to take some pain medicine and sit in a car all day, driving a couple hours and the back's hurting the whole time, finished that, came home. Yeah, made some dinner with the kids. I'm talking to you here, right? I am gonna go for another run, but I won't do it as bad today because can't really lift the weights, right? You gotta look better naked. So, that's what I'm gonna do.
I fell short last night. I was at 14,986 steps, and I just put it in my head that at some other point during the day when I didn't have my device with me,
Right,
that I had taken the 14 steps, and I'm like,
right.
I can walk down the stairs now, or I
Uh,
can just go to bed. And I went to bed, but yeah, we've just been trying to keep active, but I'm so thankful that the sun is out shining, and it just makes going for a little walk or a run, like you said, just so much easier,
mhm,
so much more enjoyable. Yeah. Although a bunch of your videos, and I really appreciate those, dead of winter,
mhm.
snow everywhere, and you're out walking and talking and hosting a show, and it's great because um, yeah, you just see the dedication, and that's why I was saying when I asked you the question, I'm like, it's fun when I know that every day you're doing something,
Mhm. Yeah.
and just making that work. Any progress on your YouTube channel? Like I know you were going to create like a 24/7.
Yeah, the only problem is that just getting enough content. So I kind of shifted there. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do some more. Like if anyone needs help with and he's planning the renovations and stuff, and you want to make some YouTube videos together, or you're local in the Kitchener Waterloo area, let me know. Yeah, I mean, I post stuff every day. You can search me up. Just search the Adam Finch online, Adam Finch Kitchener. You'll kind of find me. I'm on all social media platforms. I mean, I'm trying to post a long form video on YouTube. The shorter clips, people are really enjoying those.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll say real quick, in the description on this, if it's on YouTube, then you'll find your contact there.
Yeah.
And anybody's looking, they can always go to my link tree, and I'll have links back to the YouTube stuff from there, and easy enough to find you. That's one thing that you don't shy away from is being found.
Mhm.
I give people heck all the time for being secret agents. You yourself are not. You're out there and letting people know. And what's great is you can figure out what you're looking to do, click follow, like just and see people can follow along with what you're doing, which is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
And then all the stuff that you post, that's what people are not to do.
I said I'm glad that people don't do a good job. It just gives me more content that I can show you what not to do, so you can do it right the first time.
No, absolutely. Well, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate this. I hope we get to see each other live and in person in the not too distant future. And if you're up that way for in Red Bay, there, feel free
Mhm.
to swing by Southampton, and we'll
Yeah.
see you there. But in the meantime, you have a great night, and thanks again.
Yeah. See ya.
All right, cheers, Adam.